Hi guys, hope everyone's well and welcome back to the Improvement Podcast. So today I'm going to touch on how I've set myself up for successful contest prep. For those that don't know, I'm competing in a bodybuilding show. It'll be 22 weeks tomorrow or Monday until my first show, so on the 21st. So yeah, I'm really excited. And the reason I'm making this podcast is because the points I'm going to cover here won't only apply if you're competing in a bodybuilding show. They will apply to people who genuinely just want to lose fat and can be quite insightful and can hopefully help you as a result of that. So quick update on myself. Like I said, I will be starting prep tomorrow, so Monday or the 21st in other words, and 22 weeks until my first show, and I'm really excited. I feel like I'm in a good position to start this competition prep. And the reason why I feel like I'm in a good position is because I'm not too fat now. So see if let's say I kept bulking up and I gained another 20 pounds, like the weight I was the heaviest on my last bulking phase, then I'd have a lot of weight to lose. And the more weight you have to lose, the easier it is to lose muscle, the more tired you'll usually be by the end of that diet, the more fatigued you'll be, which is basically tiredness, so that kind of transferred into that one. And generally the worst position you're in to diet, and to an extent. Obviously you want to balance it, you don't want to start super lean and not be able to gain a wee bit beforehand to give yourself that opportunity to build muscle. But yeah, I think I'm in a really good position. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to make this episode because it could transfer over to just someone doing a fat loss phase. So if that's you, stay tuned and hopefully it will help a lot. And this is a bit of an extreme scenario, meaning some of the things I'm going to talk about, like what I'll highlight it, but you might not want to have the same level of restriction across your diet, across your days, across your weeks, and across your fat loss phase as a whole, because it's different goals. So you don't have to have that same rigidity for the most part. And not that there's not times where you have to dig in, work hard when you're trying to lose body fat, but you don't have to be super restrictive with your lifestyle. And competing for a bodybuilding show, that's what I'll be like, to be honest. It's not like not going to be much like wiggle room, because I want to do well, I want to win, and if I want to win, I've got to do everything I can to be the best I can, which means not really staying up past 10, not really missing a meal or missing a beat, to be honest. Like across the board when it comes to cardio, training, sleep, everything's got to be nailed. And first of all, I'm going to touch on what I've spent most of my time doing during the most recent phase I've been in. So I've been in a gaining phase, and this might sound a bit contradictory to losing body fat, but it's kind of the best thing you can do if you want to lose body fat. Obviously, if someone's extremely overweight, then it might not be a good idea to start a gaining phase, don't get me wrong. But for myself, it was a great idea to start a gaining phase after my last diet, because see, if I just sat at the same weight after my last diet and maintained that weight for the amount of time I did, then I wouldn't really be able to progress much in the gym. I wouldn't be able to build much muscle, and the more muscle I have, the better I'll do in my show. So it's something important. So yeah, instead I've spent, recently I started a gaining phase about start of December. So that is like 4 months in a gaining phase. I know that doesn't seem long, but before that, after I'd done that diet, I did then spend about much over a year in a gaining phase. So if I spend that long in a gaining phase, what's going to happen is, yes, I'll gain some body fat, but what will also happen is I'll gain muscle. I'll be in the best position to do so, which is why I want to spend most of my time in that phase, because you don't build muscle when you're lean. You don't build muscle when you're maintaining your weight. Yeah, you can a wee bit, but not to the extent being in a gaining phase. So I've basically spent the majority of my time in the last 2 years bulking, eating more food than I am burning, slowly gaining weight. And then in between, I've had some short diets. And yeah, so this puts me in the best place to perform. Not only that, but build muscle, hence why you want to perform well. And as well as that, it's how I've managed to increase my food up and have a high calorie intake. And the reason why you want that is because if you start a diet and you're already got, let's say, a maintenance calories below 2000, meaning you need to eat, let's say, 2000 to just maintain your weight, then it's gonna be pretty hard to be able to stick to that, because it's not a lot of food to eat at all. So having that additional food will mean I'll not have to struggle as much with hunger. I'll not have to struggle as much with just not having much to eat, and not sticking to the plan won't be an issue. But I think you get what I mean, especially for like general population people. You don't want a super low calorie intake. It'll also mean I'll probably perform better if I've got higher calories, because usually if you've got super low food, you'll be consuming less nutrients. As a result, you may have more deficiencies, and as a result, you are not going to have good energy. You're not going to be able to perform well. And I believe even if you're in the same calorie deficit, even if you're losing weight at the same pace, I think just eating more food while doing so is going to result in a better end product. It's going to result in you being able to perform better in the gym, even if you're still in a deficit. I do believe that's the case. And as well as that, in terms of my body composition. So basically this year, last year what I'd done was I spent the majority of it bulking, or in a gaining phase, whatever you want to call it. And then after that, I've done a pre-prep diet. And what this diet is basically me putting myself in a good position to start contest prep, which means I done a dieting phase from 212.5 pounds to 180 pounds. And the reason being is, if let's say I started at like 212 pounds, like I said, then I'm gonna have to take off a lot of body weight. So I'll probably be on stage, I'll never truly know, but around 160 pounds. So if I did start at 210, that's me taking off 50 pounds in that one, in that one diet, which is a lot of weight, especially when you're getting super lean. It's gonna have negative effects in terms of your energy, your health as a whole, your hormones, because it's a lot of weight to lose, and it will be super fatiguing. So in doing a diet in between, it means I went to 180 pounds. My body weight is now, what is it? Sorry, I'm going to actually check it. I can't mind exactly what it is. Although I do weigh myself every morning, I'm not aware of what my body weight is, which is great. So yeah, 180 pounds I started or ended my diet at, and then now I've worked my body weight up to, let me see. So now my body weight is sitting at 192 pounds on average, 193 pounds, something like that. So what that basically means is I've been able to push my calories up by bulking a bit more or entering that gaining phase, and now my calories, after they ended the diet at around 2,500, they're now at 4,000 calories. So that's going to put me in a great spot to basically be able to take tons of food away. So at the end, be able to have room to push, because if let's say I finished my bulk at 210 pounds, dieted from there, even if my calories are high, I'm gonna have to drop them a lot to be able to lose that much weight. Whereas now I'm relatively lean, my calories are super high, so I've got tons of room to push my calories down and not a ton to lose in terms of body fat, putting me at the best spot possible, really. And then so the reason why a gain phase is sometimes the best thing you can do before diet is, like I said, because you can get your food nice and high, so you don't have as much hunger and food focus, and you can perform well as well. And that's why I done that short gaining phase after my diet, because it basically allowed me to push my performance up after that dieting phase, so I'm the strongest I've ever been while being relatively lean and while my food's nice and high, putting me at a good position to basically start my competition prep. So I've kind of went over a lot in terms of what I've done, so I'm gonna try and go over it again. So yeah, basically at what year? It's 2022. So during like middle of 2020, I started a gaining phase. Finished it basically the later half of 2021. Then I dieted up until December, and then I've started a gaining phase since. So now my food's super high. So now, as well as that, my steps aren't high. I'm relatively lean, so I'm in the best position possible to basically start a diet. And what you can basically take from this is, if you want to gain muscle, you should spend the majority of your time gaining weight slowly, because that's when you gain it best. You don't gain muscle much when you're dieting, when you're not eating as much food, and when you're losing weight. That's not when you gain muscle. So you shouldn't really spend much time there, and because you'll just be spinning your wheels. It's like, yes, you can just sit at maintenance, slowly get bigger and slowly get leaner, but you will be a much better use of your time would just be entering a gaining phase and then dieting down after, if you think you can take the weight off and if you think you can manage it. And as well as that, sometimes if, let's say, you are someone who has a lot of weight to lose and you are struggling to do so, let's say you start a diet and then you run your calories into the ground, meaning you're already doing a ton of activity, your calories are super low, and then you like feel like you can't push anymore, you can't do it anymore because your calories are too low to lose weight. Then what you could do is start a slight surplus or maintenance phase type thing. So you can basically stop what you're doing in terms of your diet, like I done at 180 pounds, and then I gained about 10 pounds, 11 pounds, something like that. But not that you have to gain weight, but just simply slowly eating more over time and performing better in the gym means you can get your performance back if you've lost any. And as well as that, you could also basically give yourself that mental break of not dieting. Your hunger can drop, so you're not as starving throughout the day. You can work your calorie intake up by performing well, progressing in the gym. So instead of being, let's say, finishing your diet on 1,500 calories, you could maybe even work them up to 2,500 and then finish your diet off after that. Because I've basically managed, after my pre-prep diet, so the most recent diet I've done, and now I'm eating 1,500 calories more daily. So yeah, you can basically do that and then start your dieting phase again. So dieting phases aren't always going to be one straight line going down, trending downwards in terms of your body weight. Sometimes you might need to break it up, sadly, especially folk who have got a really low calorie intake. And yes, it's not enjoyable knowing that. It's rubbish kind of knowing that you can't strip it all off at once. You don't want to have a break in doing so. You want to get it over and done with. But sometimes if you truly want to do things the right way and like stick to the plan and actually make and maintain the progress you want to make, sometimes it's not always easy. It doesn't always happen super fast, and sometimes it does require maybe working your calories up for a bit and sticking to the gym, training really hard, and then dieting down again after that. So yeah, sometimes it's great to split up diets like that. And if anyone's got any questions regarding dieting, regarding how I've done things or how they should do things when it comes to bulking, cutting, or just any general questions related to the gym, then please feel free to ask. And hope you've took some value from this, as well as seeing what my plans are in terms of my competition prep. And actually, I'll cover that very quickly. So yeah, I didn't really say much in terms of what my competition prep will look like. So basically, I'll be starting it, like I said, Monday. My first show's in 22 weeks. My second show will be in 24 weeks from tomorrow. And after that, I aim to basically get to the finals through one of my shows. And from there, we'll see where it takes me. And I will try and do my best to give it my all, basically. Because you can't control who's turning up, but you can control how much effort you put in. So yeah, I'm just going to get my head down, do the best I can, and see where it lands me. But I think I can do pretty well for my first time, or at least my coach AJ says so. So yeah, I'm really excited to do so. And it'll be a decent experience for sure, and I'm sure I'll learn a lot. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this. Any questions, like I said, please feel free to drop me a message and share it on your story. leave me a rating and review, subscribe, all that, and support the podcast if possible. Hope everyone has a great day.